Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
A fiery debate erupts in the House of Assembly this morning. Find out why, straight ahead.
Prime Minister Barry Christie addresses the opening of the Caribbean travel marketplace. That story is coming up straight ahead.
Debate begins on the Freedom of Information Bill. Plus, the DNA has a strong response to F&M leader Dr. Hewitt Minnis. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, Prime Minister Barry Christie has vowed to detail the spending of revenue from value-added tax and present it to every nook and cranny of the Bahamas in short order. This after a heated debate erupted in the House of Assembly this morning as Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald defended a speech presented by the Minister of State for Finance during the PLP's convention. Fitzgerald got into a shouting match with a former PLP MP who accused the Education Minister of lacking basic mathematical skills. Jasmine Brown reports.
That's right, Kyle. Tempers flared and voices raised as both Fitzgerald and Rollins argued on how the VAT money is being spent. Fitzgerald, who started off debate on the Freedom of Information Bill, says he felt compelled to address what he called misinformation about VAT spending. He accused members of the opposition and the media of misconstruing the facts of an issue that he says is elementary.
25% of our government revenue comes from VAT. This ain't no rocket science. It's laid out in the budget debate. So 25 cents out of everything the government spends on comes from VAT. 25 cents out of every dollar the government spends comes from VAT. I mean, what's so hard about that? A grade one student could understand that.
Well, Port Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins took issue with the Education Minister's comments and fired back by slamming Fitzgerald's mathematical skills.
If his numbers are correct, that means that the Treasury is collecting at least $2.4 billion a year, which means that we should be operating a surplus and not a deficit, which means then that the budget that we came here to debate, which says that they expect to collect $1.9 billion, is off by some $500 million, according to his poor math. And I am hurt because the children who were just here today, who look up to him as a Minister of Education, they expect him to know math. And he doesn't even understand that the figure he gave just now totally blows a hole into the budget projections of this very same government. And I asked the Minister of State for Finance and the Minister of Finance to do their job because clearly the Minister of Education knows nothing about math.
The issue of VAT spending has become a topic of national debate after Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis gave a speech at the PLP convention last week. He indicated hundreds of millions of dollars in VAT money was spent on upgrading healthcare, education, and national security. Many of the initiatives Halkitis claims the VAT money was spent on, Parliament borrowed to pay for. However, Fitzgerald backed up Halkitis' claims, prompting this shouting match between Free National Movement Deputy Leader Peter Turnquest and the Education Minister.
You cannot say that it paid for these things that the Bahamian people know we borrowed money for and that we are paying the price for today in our junk status rating. You can't say that, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
And so, you know, just be genuine with the Bahamian people. And Mr. Speaker, the Bahamian people have a right to ask the question, where is the VAT money going? Because that's not the premise that they were sold for the implementation of it. They said it was going to reduce the debt. I'm not berating the public. I'm not berating the public. I'm challenging you, East Grand Bahama, because you know better. You came here and you voted. No, you sit down till
allow the member to finish.
I sat down.
Allow the member to finish.
I sat down till you finish. You sit down till I finish.
Member, not necessary.
Halkitis and Prime Minister Christie also weighed in and pledged that more will be revealed soon about VAT spending.
I do intend to demonstrate to the Bahamian public and to this Parliament that my statements about VAT, its implementation, its use, have always been consistent, and that my speech at the Progressive Liberal Party convention, I stand behind every word. I resile from not one syllable. And I will demonstrate to the Bahamian people why what I say is true.
These are matters that we will show, right? And we will detail it. We'll present the graphs, and we'll present it in every nook and cranny of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So nobody has to ask where the Vat money is. Yes, sir.
Now, officials say they do not expect the VAT issue to die down anytime soon. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown. Kyle?
Well, debate on the new Freedom of Information bill began in the House of Assembly today. Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald, who led off the long-awaited debate, said he is disappointed in the public response to the government's education campaign.
I was somewhat disappointed at the public's response, particularly in light of all of the commentary we have been hearing about the Freedom of Information bill. I see people marching and all for the freedom of information when the bill is before Parliament. I don't know what they're marching for that for. But again, Mr. Speaker, a lot of commentary and nobody wants to even take the time to understand what's going on. I'm not even sure they care.
Fitzgerald said they received the most feedback on the appointment of an information commissioner. He added that 13 recommendations were made following public consultation and 11 were accepted. Fitzgerald said there are a lot of individuals, groups, and political leaders who say they would repeal this bill and produce a real Freedom of Information bill. However, he insisted the current bill meets international standards.
Freedom of information and by extension freedom of speech and the new right of individuals to request information from public authorities can only strengthen and build our country. Mr. Speaker, without a doubt, as I said, freedom of information will promote greater accountability, transparency, and help citizens to be more involved in the democracy of our country.
Well, 2 days after the Free National Movement leader, Dr. Hubert Minnis, dismissed the Democratic National Alliance as not even a factor in the upcoming general election, DNA leader Bamba McCartney today hit back, saying if his party isn't considered a threat, why bring them up?
If we are not a factor, don't call our name. And I can tell you this, we have seen so many F&Ms defect to the DNA. That's right. We ain't put them on display yet, like the PLP put those other set on display. But people have left the F&M, left, right, and center.
After the F&M ratified 5 more candidates Monday night, Minnis said the upcoming election is between the PLP and the F&M, and that a vote for the DNA is a vote for the PLP. McCartney said today Minnis' statement sounds quite similar to that of former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram just before his party was kicked out of office in the 2012 general election.
He said it's between the F&M and the PLP. Well, Mr. Ingram is retired shortly after that election. If we were able to retire the bulldog, what do you think we could do with the pussycat?
Some say the DNA played a huge role in the F&M's crushing defeat in 2012. Fast forward to 2017, the DNA is still around, but not considered a factor by the F&M leader. McCartney says Minnis is once again being naive, adding he agrees with Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray, who credited Minnis with destroying the F&M.
When it comes to Minnis, when it comes to Dr. Minnis, you can rest assured they're not a factor. There's no more F&M. There's no more F&M. The F&M that he leads looks like a scrap group.
Scrap gang.
Period.
The F&M has been plagued by tense leadership struggles since Minnis took over. McCartney said he believes no party should spend that amount of time battling itself.
From what I see with the F&M, they don't seem to be a factor moving forward, my friend. They cannot, or Dr. Minnis cannot keep his party together. Do you believe he could deal with this country?
As Bahamas' April soft opening deadline approaches, Prime Minister Perry Christie says thousands of Bahamians continue to apply to fill positions at the Cable Beach Resort. Giorgio Sturrock reports.
Job application numbers for the multi-billion-dollar Bahama resort spiked to 9,000, according to Prime Minister Perry Christie, who said the resort is just a few weeks away from its opening date. Earlier this month, Bahama launched a locals-only recruit drive, attracting hundreds of applicants looking to fill positions across the board. Christie, who spoke at the opening of the Caribbean Travel Marketplace Conference last night, said hires at Bahama would add to the nearly 32,000 jobs already created by the Christie administration.
The hiring process of some 1,500 new employees
for the phased opening has commenced, and by year end, when the project is completed, several thousand additional jobs will be created, and the managing director and lead personality here for the owners have indicated, as they've just opened the application process, that they have over 9,000 applications and counting right now.
According to Christie, there has been a lot of international concern over how Atlantis and Bahama would coexist. However, he assured tourism officials that his government is way ahead of the planning process.
There has been this incredible level of concern over the years since the development at Cable Beach started, that is the Bahama development, as to how would two mega resorts coexist on this small island 7 miles wide and 21 miles long. It was particularly heightened in terms of the concern by the fact that the government of the Bahamas, when I was in my first term, borrowed over $400 million to make the airport one of a kind in the region.
While addressing the opening of the Caribbean travel marketplace at the Atlantis Resort, Prime Minister Perry Christie says it's more important than ever that investors and the leaders of countries get on the same accord, giving the importance of the travel marketplace. Following job losses at Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort and One and Only Ocean Club last year, Christie called on investors present at the marketplace opening to work with government officials to reduce the number of labor issues.
And we have to find a way to be careful with, as leaders of countries, how we trade with you. Because it's not good for me to sit with Butch Stewart and he says to me, man, look what they gave me down there, and you ain't giving me nothing down here. And I want to be able to say this, that there has to be a shared vision for the region.
Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Still to come on our news, Grand Bahama Police investigating a double murder. Plus, the F&M takes its campaign to the second city. That's coming up when our news returns.